All right, let's now shift our focus to the other big story that we are tracking today. We're on the third and final day of his India visit. Iranian President Rouhani was accorded a ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi earlier in the morning. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with President Ram Nath Kovind, welcomed the Iranian President, who is on his maiden visit to India. This, of course, is Rouhani's second visit and the first one since he took charge as the President of Iran in 2013.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. اگر ما در این سفر بتونیم به نقطه‌ای برسیم که اجداد ما در ایران و هندوستان با هم بهترین روابط رو داشتند، اگر ما بتونیم به اون روز برسیم کار بزرگی کردیم.
All right, so this, of course, has been an important meeting between the two heads of the states. Several important memorandums of understanding have, in fact, been signed between India and Iran. And, in fact, Rouhani had defined this as a key partnership that will be instrumental in taking the 21st century forward. And to discuss the importance of the several memorandums of understanding that have been signed, we are also joined by Mr. Mujtaba Musavi, who is the founder and editor of Iran's View. Mr. Musavi, let me begin by asking you this. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in fact, defined the Chabahar port as the golden gate for the relationship between India and Iran. And also one of the key issues, key factors between the India-Iran relationship is the fact that Iran is the second biggest supplier of crude oil to India. Where do you see this relationship headed from here?
Rouhani's trip to India has important political, economic and cultural dimensions which we should discuss separately. I want to, on the economic aspect of the trip, we all know that all projects and Chabahar project are most important economic cooperation between Iran and India. Last year, I met Indian ambassador in Tehran, and I told him India's delay in Chabahar project sent a very negative signal to Iranians. He believed despite all problems, sanctions and obstacles, India is committed to the project. And today we are witnessing that Iran's president and Indian leadership, they agreed on to expand their economic relationship, especially on Chabahar issue. So we hope this project, along with other economic agreements signed during Rouhani's visit, will help to expand India and Iran's relationships in all dimensions.
Right, and also considering the geostrategic importance of Iran, and also the fact that the 2015 nuclear deal is now being questioned very aggressively by President Donald Trump, do you see that India and Iran realistically can actually proceed without any major sticking points?
Yeah. Unfortunately, Iran believes that India's view of Iran is limited to a few of economic projects and does not go beyond economic issues. In this trip, let me stress on the fact that Rouhani began his visit from Hyderabad, an important Indian city with more than 30% of Muslim population. This has two important message for India and the Muslim community. Meeting with Muslim scholars and participating in the Friday prayer led by Sunni Muslims was not only a call by Iranian president for unity between Muslims, but it was also an important move for India and Pakistan's troubled relationship. Let me use an analogy from Bollywood. A while ago, I watched an Indian movie about an Indian girl trying to marry a Pakistani boy, and girl's family were opposed to the marriage. And at the end, mediator built confidence between the two. Rouhani's reached out to India's Muslim population, and in same time, his friendly meetings with Indian leadership is a call for India and Pakistan that Iran is able and is willing to play a role of a mediator between the two countries. So we urge the Indians that do not look at to expand their relationship with Iran to beyond the economic issues.
You know, it's an interesting point that you've brought up, Mr. Musavi. You say that Iran can actually play the role of a mediator between India and Pakistan. What sort of a role, realistically, can you envisage? Because the key sticking point between India and Pakistan is, of course, the issue of Kashmir, which Pakistan keeps bringing up, and the issue of terrorism is one of the key sticking points which Pakistan does not want to give up on. So what sort of a stance would Iran want to take on these two issues?
Yeah. Actually, Iran has an experience of mediating in the similar issues. We have, in north of Iran, we have a similar conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia. And for years, Iranians are trying to solve the issue, and we help the Azerbaijanis and Armenians to sit and negotiate their differences. And we also, for many years, we are discussing the security issues with Pakistan, and we think Iran can help India and Pakistan to sit on a table and negotiate their security concerns from the two sides. You know, Pakistanis also have the same concerns. They argue that. I do not want to go into details, but I just stress on Iran's ability to
And also considering the fact that India and Iran at this point of time are trying to forge ahead with their relationship at a time when, you know, Iran and Israel ties are not at their very best. Do you think it would be a little problematic for Iran to actually move closer towards India at a time when India is not shy of the fact that it is inclined towards improving its relationship towards the United States and also with Israel?
Actually, this is the important political aspects of this visit, because Rouhani's visit from India, it happens shortly after Israeli PM Prime Minister Netanyahu visits from India, and India's Modi visit to Israel. Delhi and Tel Aviv, they expanded their relationship recently and have joint military production and intelligence cooperation. But on the other hand, India has a historical background in defending Palestinian rights as a member of non-aligned movement, and Tehran think Delhi can play an important role for resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflicts and the occupation of Palestinian lands. So I'm sure that Mr. Rouhani, in his meetings with Indian leaders, they discussed about how India can balance its relationship with Israel and Muslim countries.
And also one interesting survey says that 71% of the Iranians actually view India very favorably. My question to you is, how is India-Iran relationship, do you think, is likely to impact the development of Iran? Because till 2015, Iran was under crippling economic sanctions. The 2015 Iranian nuclear deal was struck, and after that it was thought that things would improve. But right now that does not seem to be the case, and Iran is looking for investments from India. How key do you think are investments from India into Iran?
I think, and I also talked with the Iranian diplomats, and they are very optimistic about the future of Iran's and in India's economic relationship. India is willing to invest in Iran, and Iran is happily welcome the Indian investments, because in many different economic fields, in technology, in oil, in petrochemical industry, in auto industry, we have many potentials to expand our cooperations. But the most important issue is two sides decide and try together to expand the economic relationships. The Iranian diplomats and Iranian economic experts, which I have talked to, all of them say we are not in a satisfying level of economic cooperation, and we all welcome more investments from India.
Right, Mr. Musbi, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for having joined us and got us your inputs. Yes, the India-Iran relationship is a very important one, especially in the difficult geopolitical construct where it is in fact being forged forward. Now, Hassan Rouhani has, of course, said that the India-Iran relationship will be one of the key driving factors in the 21st century, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called the Chabahar port as the golden gate for the India-Iran relationship. Now, it remains to be seen and will be interesting to watch out for as to how much forward this will progress, considering the kind of pressure there is on the part of the Americans in the 2015 Iranian nuclear deal. Because if that were again in any way to be lifted off, then it will be difficult to see as to how it will be possible for different countries to come and invest into Iran. Because that, of course, is one of the key factors which President Hassan Rouhani is looking at as a part of his 3-day India visit.